Welcome back to another episode of the Philosophy of Chillin. I'm your host, Dunlap the Connect. And as you can see, I'm not here by myself. I'm joined with a whole lot of good company. Um, and I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. Cause they not gonna do it like me, but they got their own flavor to it for sure.
Um, this is Onyx. I'm Catherine Clark.
This is the Bev Doctor. Y'all know what's going on. It's short and simple.
Facts for sure. So, as always, I don't necessarily disclose the topic of conversation until we're actually within our episode. So I don't even have to open the book to know that the topic that I wanted to discuss today with you all was self-discovery. And the reason that I wanted to talk to you all about that as a unit together was because I feel like that's an aspect in our lives that we're all sharing. And it's fascinating to me to see people that register their active moments of evolution within their creativity. So I wanted to ask y'all, when it came to where you are now and understanding where you want to go to, how is it understanding who you are and realizing the aspects of yourselves that you had to grow into?
Um, I think that I've always known who it is that I was, but I think that because I was so okay with supporting the people around me, I exuded a lot of supporting character attributes.
That's real.
When I was supposed to be in my main character energy a long ass time ago. If that makes sense. And sometimes I feel like people who are supporting characters often are the main characters, but because they don't want to overshadow the ones who are already comfortable being in the forefront, they think that that's not their role or what it is that they're supposed to do. And I don't know, I kind of feel like sometimes I like subconsciously would make myself smaller around people because they also have big personalities. And I'm not saying I didn't have a big personality, but like the talents or the things it is I was blessed with or able to do, people would not be like, oh my God, I forgot you knew how to do that. And it's crazy because in my everyday life, I'm doing this shit every day. But because I'm giving off this support and character as energy, y'all don't know, but it's okay. I had to flip that shit. So I was like, nah, this is me. I'm actually the one out here.
Yeah. I feel that. I think I'm very different in a way, but the same way. I absolutely do not have any supporting character attributes.
Big Leo.
I don't have no supporting. Any room I step in, this is my room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that translates into the personality that I've developed and grown into. But it all starts when you know who you are.
Yeah.
You got to know who you are in order to even have that vision. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, evolution, and I think in today's world, evolution looks different for everybody, but it starts with knowing who you are. And then when you know who you are, you're able to really hone in on those personality traits that's going to take you wherever you're trying to go.
That's a good one.
I think that's
So
yeah. So I think that's how I would pretty much conceptualize the idea of evolution in our current state and where we know we want to go. You got to know who you are first. And then once you do that, now you're able to execute where you're trying to go based on the personality traits you already possess. So it ain't no new shit coming out the blue. It been you.
Yeah.
It been you.
Yeah.
that's fact.
This ain't no new shit.
That's it.
But it's until you realize and understand that this is you, then you are able to really put you into action to get where you're going. So that's how I would say, that's what it looks like for me. Definitely.
That's real. And I can agree with that too, because even now in my life, that's what I'm recognizing it to be. even though the space that I thought I would be isn't necessarily correlated to where I am now. And even going back to the point where I'm thinking about how I started and everything, it was never coming from a place of, oh yeah, I know I'm gonna be this, I know I'm gonna do that. It was always coming from a place of like, bro, I know I got these talents. I know I'm just trying to use this energy constructively to help me. What can I do with it? Where can I go? So like for you all, what was it like possibly asking those questions to yourselves, or even like identifying the stages that those questions would correlate to in knowing, okay, this is where I want to be, this is what I'm achieving, but now as I'm understanding, this is how I'm morphing that recognition to assimilate to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You want to? I can go 1st. I think. I mean, because I had to answer as soon as you got halfway through the question.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? So, because you had like 3 parts to that question. Ask the first part, because I want to make sure I hit every single part.
Dang. Okay. Wait, that's hard.
I know.
I just came up with. That was a genuine question.
I know.
Okay, what did I ask?
The first part you had said. Fuck.
She
now I'm forgetting.
Said,
okay.
Like, the steps in, like, what is, I guess, because you're like, yeah, it's not from a, oh yeah, I'm about to do this, but it's like, I know I have these visions, I know I have this, so I guess it's in the sense of like, what is your experience with that? Because I know mine is different. Like the first thing she said,
recognizing your skill set.
Yes.
And then after recognizing your skill set, going to the aspect of understanding, okay, this is where I'm at in my present. This is what I'm actively doing, and this is how what I know my skill sets to be are contributing. And then that third part was, okay, I'm recognizing what I'm contributing. And in the space that I'm in currently, how is it adding to me, and how do I need to continue to walk in these?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So like schools that I went to, I think sometimes it's just interesting because people are so used to you doing one thing. And like when you're young, they were like, okay, what do you want to do? And I'd be like, I want to do this and I want to do this. And they'd be like, yeah, but what do you want to do? I just told you what I wanted to do. Just because people are so used to doing one thing, or they push you to be really good at this and hone in on this. Like the saying, master of all, what is it? Jack of all trades, master of all none. But the rest of the quote, I think, is, but more of a master than any. Because you spend time wanting to do all these things, and it's like I always knew that I was going to do all the shit it is that I be saying I want to do. You don't get visions for no reason. God places those downloads within you because that's something your future self already has. You just got to sit here and work hard to do what it is that you already envision yourself doing. So I guess I always knew who it is that I was and what it is that I wanted to do. And I think that it makes space for me to contribute those gifts in other spaces, because I don't move creatively unless it's from a place of intentionality in general. Like if I'm not serving in a way to where I'm making people feel something or raising the frequency or the vibrations of the people around me or this shitty ass world, then I'm not really effectively creating to begin with. So I'm not using the gifts that God gave me intentionally, regardless.
Facts.
That's real.
That's facts.
That's real.
I second that. Yeah. Ditto, for real. I would say this. So pretty much that first part of the question where you say like, where you're acknowledging like, okay, I can do this. I know I want to do this, all this type of stuff. I think that still ties back into the overall topic, self-discovery.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then even to my last answer where I said that's just pretty much you understanding who you are, your personality traits, and how you can make those work for you in the best way possible. But then when it goes to, okay, but where are you currently at? You know what I'm saying?
That's a real one.
Now, this is the part where it's time to actually develop a plan. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
Like, this
he got you.
This is no, so serious because it has more steps. But if we're just gonna keep it at the 3 parts, develop a plan.
Yeah, facts.
We've already acknowledged what it is, who I am, all that type of stuff. Now it's time to develop a plan. And then for the 3rd part, what is it gonna take? You know what I'm saying, for me to get there? So like me personally, I know in my personal growth, especially this year, and then coming into the tail end of last year, it's just discipline. That's what it took, you know, to just do it. You know what I'm saying?
You feel me?
And it's just like, when I think about it this way, right? You go out for a new job, right?
Yeah.
You get the new job. It could be something that you've never done before. You're going to really work hard at it to learn this new field that you're in, right? You're going to try to do your own research outside of this. You're going to try to put in the extra time, the extra hours so that I understand it for real. And then you're going to actively practice it at work every day, 5 days a week, whatever your schedule is,
That's facts.
to become a professional at it. What if we took that same energy and did that for ourselves?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The discipline you had to sit down and go into this new job to be great at it.
That's facts.
When are we going to sit down and do that for ourselves? So that's the mindset of, okay, you acknowledged it. Let's design the plan. Now have the discipline to execute. You know what I'm saying?
That's real though.
That's literally that's me. But I'm sure that can resonate with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Discipline is hard.
Yeah.
Discipline is hard. Because you always know, I'd rather do something else. Or I could chill right now. I could just, do whatever. But it's that discipline that's going to actually do what you acknowledged, created a plan for. But now we're in the execution. So that's my word.
And that's the thing, like, because I wholeheartedly agree with that. And one of the reasons why I made this platform was for people to understand that the concept of chilling isn't necessarily doing nothing. You're still doing something.
Right.
You're still being productive. You're still executing exactly what you envision for yourself. You're just doing it in a mentality that you can address the different waves of emotions that you're going through and still make the decision to say, okay, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to still push forward.
Right.
I'm going to still make sure that I'm okay so that I can show up and create results that correspond with where I want to go to. And when you said that, that just brought me back to everything as far as being able to work through the process. Because a big thing that I've seen in the people around me, or sometimes even within myself, you get so stuck in the feelings of the process that you think, okay, well, I don't need to do nothing more. This is just, it is what it is. I ain't gotta try. Like, this is me, and this is just how I am. But at the same time, it's about development. It's about, okay, yeah, this is me and this is who I am, but I also have to evolve the way that I understand and the way that I articulate that to other people so that they can see why I go so hard for the ideology that I do. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
I think that all of that goes or plays a part in knowing who it is that you are, right? Because yes, knowing who it is that you are creatively and professionally, all that other shit matters, but the discipline and the little characteristics it is that you acquire as you evolve and like go through all the transformations of life play a really large part in your identity. And so you're not able to show up in these spaces or be able to execute all of these things it is that you're wanting to help someone else accomplish or you're wanting to accomplish if you're not able to do those things with yourself. So I think a part of self-development is doing the self shit first.
Facts.
Before you're over here doing the group shit. You can't do things outwardly in the 3D that you have not done in the internal. And you cannot expect for people to understand you or be where it is that you are mentally, spiritually, and emotionally when it comes to executing a plan and accomplishing something if you didn't even do that shit with yourself. It's almost like I can't expect something from you if you don't even do it for you.
Hell yeah.
She's talking to you. She's talking to you.
No.
So yeah.
That's facts. I was hold on, because you said something that I was thinking is what
Telepathy.
There we go. I was like, God damn, I can't get the word out. The telepathy that's going on right now is because it's just like, bro, everything that we're saying is just bouncing. And that's because I feel like we all have just a good form of synergy. So to what you said is not doing the group work. What about the self work?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when I think about, if we tie back to just the discipline to set out and do what you're actually saying you do, that's one part of it. But like, are we holding ourselves to the same standard we would respond to a boss or a manager holding us to? So let's say we know it's evaluations coming up, right?
Right.
The way you're receptive to how they deliver whatever they evaluate you on, with your performance, your all that good stuff, are you doing the same thing for yourself? So like, when are you taking that time to look in the mirror?
That's a good one.
So serious.
That's a good one.
You'd be amazed. We can be hard on ourselves about everything in life, but our goals.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like, are we setting those deadlines, and are we actually making hard deadlines on ourselves? Realistically, we don't punish ourselves the way that we should. We let other people punish us, and we receive that. But punish yourself the same way that you allow somebody else to punish you, and there will be no punishment. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like, that's how I look at it. Are we doing the same self-evaluations that we're allowing other people to do on us? And I think that's what helps strengthen your discipline and your self-reliance and all these different things to attain the goal and where you're trying to go. Like, I was just talking to y'all about analytics. I'm going to look at my analytics after Q1 and let's see how I hit that. Where did I drop the ball at if I didn't hit that? What areas are stronger? What areas are weaker? What did I notice about what I did that probably changed? Okay, a steady uprise trend and then a sudden decline. You know what I'm saying?
No, really. And I think it's also about being self-aware. And in a sense of like, I think people actually do discipline or get on themselves a lot more than other people or other entities, but do it in the ways that are so wrong.
I was just about to say, is it constructive?
Is it constructive? Because sometimes people really take rejection as not redirection and more so as losses instead of lessons. And that is where, if you lack, and we talked about this yesterday, if you lack the sense of nurturing it is that you need in order for you to be the best form of you in your self-development, then you have to go in and do extra ass work to reach that level of self-development it is that you need. And that means being like, damn, I know that I could have did it this way, but because I did not prioritize what it is that I needed to do, it did not happen that way. And instead of being like, damn, I'm stupid, I'm ridiculous, I'm all this other shit, you can just be like, I'll do better tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's real.
And that is a part of the self-development. Because if you're not nice to you, no one is going to be nice to you. If that's, it goes back, it's all full circle. If you're not nice to yourself, I can't expect you to be nice to me. If you don't hold yourself accountable, I can't expect for you to hold me accountable or for me to hold you accountable and you do the same shit it is that I'm needing you to do that you won't even do for yourself. It goes even to the smallest things of like, and sometimes I have to find myself like realigning and doing this, because it even goes to like, if I said I'm going to read this scripture, or I'm gonna focus on this novel, or I'm gonna work out this many times at this amount of time, and I don't do that, instead of you downing yourself in the form of self-development, be like, that didn't happen how it is that I wanted it to. I'm not committing to myself the ways it is that I be expecting other people to commit to me.
That's real.
And so then you start from there, because self-development is really just shadow work. And if you don't do the shadow work for within, all your self-development is going to be for nothing, because you're going to keep going into circles and keep learning the same as lessons that you're not sitting there and taking the time to evaluate.
That's real.
So
that kind of goes into the next question I was going to ask y'all, because you've actually kind of been answering it in a way. So I wanted to rephrase it to kind of pull something else out of it in terms of understanding that for yourself, because that's the biggest leap is, okay, these people saying this shit to me, and that's cool and all, but like if I don't recognize it, it don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing at all. So in terms of the point in time in your life where you identify, okay, look, this is a recognition of what I am and an identification of what I need to work through to get to where I want to go to. How was that for you in evaluating, how to get through the moments that triggered you? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Because I understood the first part. When you say triggers, what do you mean?
So, you're a business owner. You had the idea. You were super excited when you got the idea. Let's say, depending on your personality, you were a person that once I have the idea, I'm gung-ho everything. Like, I'm making sure that I'm not slacking. I got the equipment, I got the resources, or I have at least the fruition in my own actions to walk it through and make it happen. But then you get your first moment of contradiction. You get your first moment of the person that you trusted doesn't necessarily equate to what you envisioned. How do you recognize that and still be able to move forward in progression towards the same goal that you were so excited for, that correlated to your own identification of what your skill set could lead you to, whether it was with the people that you thought it would be, or just getting through your own self expectations of, bruh, like this person did me wrong, so I'm gonna just act like this and this is how I am. But also at the same time identifying, okay, well, if this is where I'm trying to go to, I can't necessarily be like that in totality. Like I can feel it and I can recognize it because that's how I am and that's how I'm digesting it. But at the same time, if I want to get to this end goal, I have to be able to evolve regardless of if there are people around me or not.
I also think that that's some ego shit. Because like, being a part of, or being a person who has been a multidisciplinary creator for the last 20 years, right? I've always been doing this, but it only became not real to me because it's always been real, but it only became, like larger than me when other people started coming in and wanting to be a part of what it is that I've been doing by myself for the last years, right? And so when people do shit to me, especially on a business level, yes, I can sit there and feel it, but also at the end of the day, I don't take any of that shit personally because shit. As a person who I know I can be in my ego sometimes, or I can be too prideful sometimes, and I could take it personal and be like, you don't respect what it is that I'm trying to do as a business. Why would you come in here and try to do this? You see what it is that I'm trying to execute and you're over. I handle as in like, you know what? That made me sad. I really hate that it had to go that way. But thank you for also letting me know that you're not the type of person I need to be working with or involving myself with when it comes to my success. And I wish you all the best, but you won't be at the same table it is that I'm at when I reach my highest level of abundance, because I already gave you an opportunity to show me that you're not where it is that I'm trying to be. And sometimes people get their feelings so hurt when it comes to developing in their careers or their passions or their visions by allowing other people's energies and their egos to come in and have an effect on you when they don't got shit to do with you. And they're just showing you that they're not in the same place it is that you are to achieve the type of abundance it is that God has for you or that you're wanting. And that's okay. That's a blessing. Not no disrespectful shit. You should thank them for showing you the kind of person it is that you don't want to be a part of your vision.
Woo-hoo.
No, that's real.
That's real shit. For sure, though.
I fuck with that. Ditto.
Yeah.
All right. I and then even to what you were saying, because our answers align. Golly. I think it's emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
That's literally all it is. So when you start running into these situations where it could contradict everything that you've been doing, you know what I'm saying? And to, especially to business owners, creatives, people who are doing something they're passionate about, whatever the case may be.
Facts.
You got to have that balance of emotional intelligence. So one thing I love that I just watched in an interview where Lil Baby said, he was asked how did he feel about the critics when they say a project was trash or a project was great. His response was, I don't say nothing when it goes platinum. I don't say nothing if it don't do well at all. It's what I put out. This is what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
so
right.
like my question to anybody out there is, do you believe in what you're talking about? Do you believe in what you're trying to do? You know what I'm saying? Because when you believe in it, nothing else matters.
Shit is irrelevant.
It doesn't matter. And
That's
so it's
real.
just like, that's why I said it's emotional intelligence. So like, even if you are doing something, let's say we're just using social media, for example, and something just goes viral out of the blue, right? You're on that high horse. You're feeling good about yourself or whatever. And then let's say your next 10 posts fall flat. That's contradictory.
How do you bounce back?
That's
real.
What do you do? You know what I'm saying? And so that's why it's like, you got to be able to keep all that shit in check. All these emotions, all these feelings of gratification, even these moments of suffocation, really. These things that suppress you, you know what I'm saying? These things that feel like it's just taken. You got to keep all that shit in check. You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is. So that's how I feel about it. It's emotional intelligence. Not allowing the highs to get too high and never letting the lows get too low. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep that fine middle ground, that balance, no matter where you are in your process.
Goodness.
Yes. And
That's
on
how I
top
feel.
of that,
They're talking to y'all.
hashtag ditto. And
Me
on top
too.
of that,
Me too.
right. I also think it just, again, goes back into what it is that I said yesterday, too. You are a human having a spiritual experience in this 3D ass shit. This shit is not real. Okay?
Not real.
What matters is what you were placed here to do.
Purpose.
Woo.
The other shit doesn't matter because, to be honest, the gifts it is that you were given is all divine alignment. So the only person that you should care about, or not even person, the only thing that you should care about when creating is that shit intentional and purposeful? Did I just create this to be in the purpose it is that I'm supposed to be in? Cool. Let the critics do their job. Let the haters do their job. You're keeping motherfuckers employed. That's their job. Their job is to watch. Their job is to look. Their job is to create. But your job, is to curate.
Facts.
So it don't matter about all that other stuff. And keeping your emotions in check is also not being in your ego. You have nothing to be sad about if their opinion does not hold weight. They wasn't in the studio with you. They wasn't sitting there looking at the wall when you got that download. They was not up with you all them hours of the night trying to create whatever it is that you're creating. They don't know the message. They don't know the importance. They don't know the significance of what it is that you're doing for you and for your crowd and your audience, because the people that it's for is going to find you. And if it's not for them people, then the shit that they saying don't matter to you. And I'm talking to me and I'm talking to you. Okay? Because sometimes I'll be like, what? But then I'll be like, fuck y'all. Your job is to watch. And
that's so real.
And you're doing what the fuck you're supposed to be doing. So let me go ahead and do what it is I'm supposed to be doing. All these feelings and all this other stuff does not matter.
See, and I love that you said that people are doing their job. And a lot of people don't understand their job. as a creative, I think it's our responsibility to remind people of their job and their place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I deal with this on a day-to-day basis, especially with what I do, creating drinks and content, putting it out everywhere where everybody can have some 2 cents about something.
Exactly.
Like telling me what ingredients I should use, or telling me that this drink is actually called this drink, or basically you're trying to say that this is a fucking, it happened today. I post the classic cocktail Tom Collins. It's made with gin, simple syrup, lemon juice, soda water. So they comment basically a lemonade with gin. Motherfucker, if I said it was a lemonade with gin, don't you think I would have titled? No. So it's just like, you gotta let people know, like, you're a spectator. You know what I'm saying? And what you said was very important. Like, they cannot come into your realm of energy. I get this all the time. You know what I'm saying? People always have suggestions. People always telling you what you should do. People always saying you should consider this. You should leave me alone. Like, let me do this. You know what I'm saying? Because like she said, you wasn't with me in the hours when I was writing up the business plan.
Right.
Or I was coming up with the ideas or the process of execution. So you need to be exactly where you were then, right now. And that was silent and not in the process of whatever I got going on.
You were non-existent.
Non-existent.
You were non-existent. I didn't even know you until you commented, bro.
Exactly.
Because I feel like the main part of development, and then this is my last tidbit. I feel like
we gotta go to the next.
I feel like the main part of self-development is developing the sense of boundary it is that you need to articulate to other people that even though you may have all these things to say about what it is that I did, there is so much more love and acceptance and reciprocity for what it is that I've created, that all that other negative rah-rah shit does not matter to me.
It shouldn't.
It should be a boundary, an energetic boundary. Because when you start taking in all that other shit, there was something that I read, and you know, some people might not be Beyonce fans, and that's fine. But guess what? The most important thing that she ever said is, when you post that shit, I don't scroll. And I don't know how to say ST words. Is scroll. I don't scroll. Okay? When she posts her shit, she don't scroll. She posts her shit and go on by her fucking day. And that's what I do too. And I can appreciate that, because I'm not finna sit here and let my mind get all... he's so clingy. I'm not finna sit here and let my mind get all like warped around the fact that, what are they gonna say? How many people are gonna like it? Are they gonna receive it the way it is that I'm wanting them to? No, the people who are gonna understand it are gonna understand it, and it's gonna find them. Sometimes we spend too much time thinking about the what if in the negative connotation, and not the what if of, what if a million people see this? What if there's so much reciprocity that they really fuck with this shit? What if my life goes this way and then the next day that shit is completely different? Stop spending so much time on the negative and shit that you're taking personally, and spend more time on...
Good job.
Right, he got up under that chair, and spend more time on the what ifs that can be so much more beautiful than the self-sabotage that your mind is trying to put in the forefront.
That's real.
That's so real.
And like you said before, it really corresponds to the synergy, because the next question I have really goes into the element of understanding your own self-discovery, but at a perspective to where you are able to receive it at scale, if that makes sense. Because you touched on it a little bit, but what I really wanted to dive into was, how can your understanding frame your response when it comes to the other aspects of perspectives that can be folded into, if that makes sense? Because of course, knowing your place is knowing that I discovered this video, and I've also had an experience with this element, and I want to be able to, not even want to, but because I am a human and because I have the personality that I possess, I'm going to relay this message, and however it lands, so be it. But as a creative, those types of responses have a specific way of influencing the intentionality that was first generated or created. So in terms of understanding the fact that, okay, I'm here, I've got these people commenting, so forth, so be it. But what about the evolution that you have to go to before the people feel comfortable enough? Because once people see you're consistent, it opens so many more windows because they know you're going to do it regardless. So when it is in a stage of, okay, I'm just going to try this, how is it for you all to understand within yourself, okay, it doesn't matter if someone says X, Y, Z, A, B, C. I'm going to put this out and let this be.
I can definitely speak to this. Especially since I do post literally every fucking day. Don't miss a day. At some point, you just gotta stop giving a fuck.
Yep.
Woo!
Like, honestly. When it comes down to putting out something that you are passionate about, you literally don't give a fuck. There's almost like this crazy inner work going on in your brain, like, that people just won't understand.
Yeah.
And so it's like, to me, I would be doing myself a disservice if I've already created the content and don't put it out.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's a huge,
I was gonna say that.
That's a
that's
good
a huge
one.
disservice right
That's
there.
a good one.
And it's like, when you listen to a lot of people who have blown up, a lot, and then we ain't just talking about social media, even musically or whatever, they always say it's that piece of work, that piece of art that I put out that I didn't even like for real, that took off for me. And it's like, if you never put it out, where would you be?
Woo!
You know what I'm saying? And so I'll speak to this, and I'm done.
That's a good one.
And I'm done because
that's a good one.
It's literally the I make so much content that I go through certain spans of time where I don't even enjoy my own content. Like, when you're creating so much, you know what you like and what you don't like. What I've learned is that the things that I don't like, most people do like. And the things that I do like usually get the least reaction, response, engagement. And it's just like that. And that's why I say emotional intelligence, because that should be hurting me, because damn, I like this so much. And I put so much effort into this because I knew I was gonna like it, and then I get this type of response. But it's the stuff that I put little to no effort in, but still was me and still delivering how I, operate. And it's like, they just loved it. And that's what I was telling y'all, the one video that I did have that just took off on TikTok out of nowhere. It actually happened on a day I was shooting. I put a video out there. This was like a throwaway video. I was just like, I'm just gonna post it because I already done created it, shot it, edited it, all that. It's just in the rotation of scheduled posts. I finished shooting, and I have my audience with me. We go out to go get the 50 cent wings. Gotta get the 50 cent wings. We love
those 50 cent wings, bro.
We love places that do 50 cent wings.
Yes.
On whatever day you choose, just do it.
With the dipping sauce.
And so, and don't charge extra for the ranch.
Come
on. We're out at the fucking place. We just left from shooting. We're all drunk as hell. That's the nature of shoot days. There's so many drinks being made, open bar, we pregame, whatever. We're so drunk. I'm sitting at the bar, and I open up TikTok, and that shit had over 1,000 fucking likes and all that. It took the fuck off out of nowhere. And I know my engagement patterns. I get all my engagement in the morning. By the end of the night or by evening, that's the cutoff. I'm not really getting much more. For that one thing, that video that I really did not care for, that I actually already made a version of before. So like, this is just like a remake of something already done. If I would have just held on to that, kept it in the gallery, whatever, I wouldn't have all the followers I have on there now. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have all the engagement and whatever. And then that's where also all the other opinions and people who don't really know shit about what I'm doing for real start to come in as well. But that's just like, okay, you know what I'm saying? You gotta put the shit out there. To your question, put it out there. Who gives a fuck? Like, that's what I said. You gotta stop giving a fuck. Who gives a fuck? Like you said, Beyonce post.
Yeah,
she don't
and she
scroll.
gets the fuck on, and guess what? And that leads to my motherfucking statement right here. Because guess what? Honestly, as a person who's like I can talk all day to you. But me singing to you, and then my own shit, like the whole statement of I'm vulnerable about my shit. That's real, right? Sit on your bottom. You looking at something?
Hey, sit down. Chill out.
He said, okay, fine. Let me tell you something. Exactly. You got to post that shit. Because honestly, it's scary as fuck singing. It's scary being vulnerable to a masses of people. And that is why so many people be like, why don't you have music on streaming platforms?
Chill.
Bitch, it's not that I don't want to. It's just the fact that, that's terrifying. But I still do that shit anyway because guess what? You're supposed to lead with love and move in fear. If the shit scares you, it means you're supposed to be doing it and you actually care about it. And then on top of that, on top of the doubling down on the disservice, I think that is disrespectful to my future self for me to not put out the songs it is that I'm making or to not use the gifts. Because they say when you don't use the stuff it is that you're able to do, the universe gonna take that shit right away from you. You're not going to be able to do none of that stuff anymore. And it's kind of disrespectful to the future you who implanted all of these ideas in you now, who's waiting for you to reach that like standard of success or obtain all of that abundance it is that you know is right there in your reach, but you're just not there yet. But you can see it. And that is why it is important to remain tunnel vision nonetheless, because regardless of whatever it is that I do, whether I like it or not, it's always going to be authentic. So I don't care what the hell blows up, to be honest with you. But what I care about is the fact that I feel confident in the fact that I was genuine in whatever it is that I posted. Because if not, then it's too much fraudulent, fake, acting ass shit on social media now anyway. And there needs to be more authenticity. And if you are sitting here and you know that you are authentic and nobody is doing what it is that you are doing, or they're not doing it like you, it is rude as fuck for you to not let other people know what it is that you are doing. Yeah. Because that's the main reason God gave you the gifts, to be purposeful. And if you're choosing not to be purposeful with the gifts it is that you have, then what the hell do you have them for? Facts. Because you scared? That's stupid. Respectfully. You can be scared and still do that shit. Okay? I be about to turtle a little bit every single time I'm about to hit the stage. But guess what? I'm still gonna blow. I'm still gonna sing. It's not gonna stop me from doing my objective.
So let's flip it a little bit there. Mm-hmm. So what is a moment where you did succumb to the pressures of not putting it out? Ooh. Just give an example of a time where I knew I put my time, my effort, my energy into this, and I still didn't go through with it. Let's start
good.
there.
That's good. I mean, I can go first.
Yeah, because I don't have that.
Well, honestly, for me, that would be the philosophy of chillin'. Mm-hmm. Because I curated this in 2019. Before I did the bucket list, before I got asked to help with anything, I was actively writing topics. I had multiple, like I had a whole season's worth. And the thing that had stopped me was the fact that, for one, I didn't trust myself because I knew the potential and the skill set that I had. I was like, anything I commit to is gonna blow. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be something that is consistent at the minimum, because I know how I am as a person. But I was second guessing my reaction to other people's perspectives, to other people's ideologies, and I didn't want to get arrested. Like, I'd be damned if I do all this hard work, get all these blessings, and then somebody trigger me, and now I'm behind bars and I can't do nothing. Like, fuck that shit. What was it for?
Facts.
So to combat that, I was like, okay, maybe I should not do it and retract from it and give myself stipulations. Like, when I first started the philosophy of chilling, it was only audio. There was no visuals. I would bleep out people's names. I would do hella editing. Now it's where I damn near do no editing at all. I record this shit. This is like, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Because even at the end of the day, the mess ups still convey a message. Mm-hmm. And now it's to a point where I wish I would have did that. I wish I would have continued. I wish I would have not necessarily second guess myself, but just identify the facts where I needed to grow and then convey that truth through the avenue. But because of the choices that I made, to other people, it may seem like, oh, she just started this. No, that's not really the case. But because I did take the time that I did, I'm able to deal with the different evolutions of what I'm going through now from a different perspective.
Yeah. Right. And I was going to say that it's kind of like a full circle moment again of like self-development, because it's not to say that I wish I would have done this, but more so of like, even though God gave you the download and the vision to do the philosophy of chilling, because they already knew that you was ready to do this, maybe the person it is that you were then is not the person that was going to be able to make as much of an impactful layout of execution now. Not to say that the experiences it is that you had then and the way it is that you were able to articulate yourself then was not going to be good enough to suffice for philosophy of chilling, but more so you were still in the mindset of thinking that you were a supporting character when you've always been a main one. And because you were feeling like, I'm going to support this person, I'm going to be here for this, I'm going to be here for that, you always showed up in all these other aspects except for yourself. So you're executing all the visions of everybody else. Sir. But
calm down.
LOL, have some decorum. Because you're executing the visions of everybody else, you did not execute the vision of yourself, because honestly, the thing that makes you the most scared is the level of success you would be obtaining if you did.
Ooh, shit, I didn't even think about that.
You knew that it would be too successful.
And see, this is something I ask people often, like literally often. Because when you talk about success and where you can take this or whatever the case may be, take all that shit away, right? Take it away. Let's go plain bread, bologna, cheese.
Right.
Let's go to the basics.
That's facts.
And when I think about what somebody's doing, or if you think about what you're doing in yourself, if I got no recognition, no notoriety, no financial, nothing financial from it, is there still something I would do? You know what I'm saying? Is it still something I would do?
Because it's something you're passionate about.
Exactly. And that's what ties into it. And so that's why my question is there anything that you know that you put a lot into that you still didn't put out? Why? And would you do that anyway, even without any type of reward from it? And that ties into the very beginning. Do you believe in it?
Yeah.
Like, you get what I'm saying?
That's good.
Do you believe in? And I think society fucked us up.
They definitely did.
Social media, what it is today, fucked us up. Definitely. The way how you can be an overnight star is
it's stupid.
It's unprecedented.
Because there's no more creative development.
Exactly.
And that's why you just got people out here in the industry that's not really talented for real. And there are people who are really working their asses off and have something to say. But because you know that if people who have something to say are in the forefront, it's going to raise the vibration and the frequency of this fuck ass world, and that's not what people are prepared for.
Exactly.
And that's why y'all act the way y'all do.
So that's why that's really why I asked that question. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like at the end of the day, the root of it, I just want to know: is this something that you would do without anything in return? You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, that's good too, though.
That's how, but that's how I process things in life. You know what I'm saying? That's how I process coming into doing what I do. You know what I'm saying? If there was any job, okay, let's ask this question. What's your dream job? Now it ain't gotta necessarily be no physical labor job. What is one thing that you would do? No payment, you know what I'm saying? No checks from it, no anything. You would do that every day for the rest of your life and be completely satisfied and happy with what you're doing. What is that one thing?
Damn, that's good. Honestly, the way that my life has grown into, I can say with clarity, spiritually, mentally, and physically, everything I'm doing now is exactly that. Because everything I was doing before was giving me the checks. Everything I'm doing now is like a restart.
But for the people who don't know what you do,
okay,
let them know what you do.
That's facts. Okay, so, damn, where do I begin? Shit.
Facts.
I'm not used to this because typically this comes at the end of the episode.
I know you usually ask all the, but it's like some of the things y'all are saying are like making me wanna.
No, but that's why I invited you back, because when we talked originally, the aspect of somebody asking questions to me, even amongst the quote unquote interview, is exactly what I've been striving to.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times when I ask questions, it's because I can feel the uncomfortability. But the fact that we have that comfortability and we have the understanding, it's providing a fluid conversation, which is essentially what I want, because if it's just me talking, it's just going to be from my perspective.
Yeah, that's interview. This isn't an interview. This
Exactly.
is a conversation.
Exactly. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, where do I begin? I got to where I am now because I wanted to help other people outside of myself. My main goal when I first started was to help make sure the people around me got paid. And because you were one of the people that were initially around me from the very beginning, you were included in that. When I met you, I saw you. Like, completely. Every person I've ever met that I still talk to today, I saw their soul.
Right.
I didn't see the surface level. I didn't see the jokes, the kiki, the goddamn, you know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah.
I saw you. So I knew once you got to a space in your life where you understood that for yourself, it was say less from there on out, because you already had what you needed as far as the self-understanding to achieve it. So for me, it was helping those people around me. How can I help you understand that this is what you're supposed to do? How can I be a resource that helps you get funded? Because there were people around me that only understood the money. So I was like, okay, if you need resources, ain't no problem, bro. What do I need to learn so that we can get that shit? Because if I understand how to get that shit, then that means I'm getting it, they're getting it, and we're getting funded. So it's a no-brainer for me. Even if it's street shit, we can make this street shit and convert it into business and still make a profit.
Which is interesting because basically all that to say, she works in a lot of different phases and areas.
Facts.
Okay? But her main objective always is to make sure that what it is you are trying to accomplish gets done. That's what all of that means. Okay? And so with that, I find that to be interesting along with your question, because that's basically what we do together. I think he just wants to be in the forefront. Also, it's his time to eat, and I get it. You know, when you be hungry, you get it, because I'm hungry too, but he the reason I didn't get my salmon empanadas. However,
that sounds good.
I make them from scratch.
Good gravy ball.
Yeah, I make them after if you would like some. Now.
Jesus, don't tempt me with a good
I'm
so serious.
I am. Now, I have done that. The first time I ever put out music for other people is in 2022. And I've been writing my entire life. And that shit scared me. And I was just like, do I want to do this? There were so many things that contemplated where I was like, nah, I'm not putting this out. Nah, people not finna hear this shit. And I waited. And I did not do it. But I think that every time I get ready to not do some shit, my spirit team be like, now you know what? After all the work it is that we sit here doing for you, you gonna sit here and disrespect me like this in front of my face? And I'm like, you know what? That's on me. I apologize. And I dropped that shit randomly at 3:33 in the morning.
Fact.
That's real shit.
And that's the not giving a fuck mentality.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody goddamn awake.
I didn't give it. Nobody was awake.
But I'm gonna drop this shit.
I sure the fuck did and made it.
That's exactly what it is.
And I made an Instagram post. Oh yeah, my bad.
That's not
no sponsorship. I didn't give a damn.
Facts.
Nobody was awake. And I made an Instagram post. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because the next day, all these people have heard what it is that I've done. And that just goes to show me, when you think, not even just show me, but show you, when you think that nobody is watching or nobody is going to know, when you think that nobody cares or nobody is going to give a fuck about what it is that you are doing, first, step out of that shit, because it's not for everybody. That's not what you're making it for. But you know that you're supposed to be doing what it is that you're doing, because regardless of if I'm getting paid for this shit or not, because for a long time, I've never gotten paid for any of this shit.
Facts.
And I've still been doing it because I genuinely love to create. Because honestly, if you really think about it, I'm making people feel. I'm keeping it to where people aren't forever on a surface level in a relation of communication or vulnerability. And as cliche as this shit sounds, the reason that there are creatives and people like us, people that do things and make content, is to keep the love in circulation. If that you're hilarious. If that makes sense, right? Because there's so much hate being spewed all the goddamn time and disdain that you don't even realize when you make something and you really love that shit, but you think yourself out of putting it out. That's disdain. That's the same energy that's going around in the world right now. And if we had more frequency of love, loving what it is that you do, making content about loving one another or servicing and supporting other people through what it is that you do, or loving yourself with what it is that, even if that shit is your platform, if self-love is your motherfucking platform, then maybe, just maybe, it wouldn't be so many motherfucking, what is it, keyboard gangsters, and
fuck them.
Yeah. And just, it wouldn't be so much self-doubt. Social media, or the way that society tries to plant seeds in your brain that nobody's going to care about what it is that you're doing, wouldn't even be a factor, because so much more love is going around in the world than hate. And they think they doing that. Oh, they think they all that. Oh, what is it that they doing? The fact that you're even watching and giving me enough view time to comment on my page about what it is that you did not like. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's miraculous. Thank you so much for still giving it attention and traction. But for the ones that don't, keep executing, keep moving in love, keep raising the vibration, because not putting some shit out, or I don't know, just not stepping into the new frequency and variation of who it is that you're supposed to be is just a disservice for what it is that you was created here for.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's spiritual.
It is.
That's some spiritual guiding right there.
Which is what creating is.
But you know what? I ain't even gonna dive into it.
Yeah. It's a whole spiritual experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
That everybody isn't
So,
able to understand.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Honestly, the day that I have to talk about politics and spirituality, I might just be famous after that.
Yeah, don't invite me because I got some shit to say.
You already know.
Yeah.
It's the big three: politics, religion,
Yep.
and sexuality.
Yep.
Are the three topics you do
Which
not
is just so
discuss
crazy.
unless you ready for that fire.
And it's so crazy because it's just like half the time the people's opinions don't even be having shit to do with you, but everybody be wanting to have opinions on shit that don't got nothing to do with them.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
But when you do,
yeah.
when you do, please don't invite me.
Don't invite me.
I think you might need to do that.
You're gonna be famous for real
because you start touching on those topics.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Damn, what they say?"
Every demon is coming out.
But that
attack.
Exactly. But that goes back to self-development.
So when you ready for that, you let me know.
Yeah.
I'll be tuned in.
I will.
I'm gonna watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna pray for you.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna make sure you got the strength to fight these demons.
Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you something, bro. To answer your question earlier, the reason that I actually walked doing this platform was because I'm ready for it.
Hell yeah.
And that's the one key of self-discovery that I wanted to ask you all as well, because there's a point in time where you understand, where you process, but then after the processing, there comes a stage where you have to understand that either you're going to walk this or you're not. And there has to be a decision. It's not even thinking at that point.
Yeah.
It's action.
Yeah.
And for me, when I had the circumstance surrounding that showed me, okay, either you're going to do this or you're going to be left with questions and contemplation. And I'll be damned. I'm going to be honest with you. When we were growing up, I read everything. Book, fucking lesson plan. You know my connection to what we had growing up as far as our education.
Of course.
Preparation.
Over prepared.
What?
Over prepared.
Let me know. The only reason I got brothers is because they understand who I am as a person. Anybody else, they've been left aside. Because otherwise, I'd be in jail.
But that also speaks volumes at the same time, too, though, because you're saying all of these things, but at some period of time, you can only be so prepared.
And that's the thing, because
at some point you have to do. And that's for me, too. There's sometimes you don't need to do no more motherfucking research. You don't need to read no more books. You don't need to look at no more videos. You need to start making the same shit it is that you just spent all this time learning, understanding, and articulate it through your own sense of authenticity.
Facts.
Sometimes we sit here and we be like, oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. You're just afraid to see what the fuck the outcome would be if you actually went full fucking throttle with what it is that you're supposed to be doing.
That's exactly what I was.
Yeah.
Because I was just about to, because God damn it, the synergy. I was just about to say that. There is a fine line between research and fear. There's nothing wrong with taking the time to do your due diligence to actually educate yourself on whatever it is that you plan on pursuing. But then there's this thing called information overload. You feel what I'm saying? And then there's this other thing called analysis paralysis. You know what I'm saying? At some point, like you said, you have to go. And even if we go, and you can do this in any area of life, even in a spiritual walk, there's going to be things that you might be praying about on your face, bald face tears. going to God, giving it all, surrendering. And there's gonna come a time when God say, go. I don't care how much you've prayed and prepared for the strength and uplifting, but when he say go, it's time to go.
Go.
You done all this research and all this stuff into the business and in the plan and all this stuff. You done did all that. But at some point, I gotta launch. Mm-hmm. I have to launch. I have to put this out there. There could be as many rehearsals in the world that you do for a particular song that you wrote, whatever. But at some point, I need to get out there and perform it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In all these things, it's only so much of the, and I like to call this the foreplay. Mm-hmm. Take it however you want. There's only so much foreplay before you gotta actually do the real thing.
Like get into it.
Do the real thing. Get into it. Yes. And it's so good that you said that, because I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. Mm-hmm. I know I've struggled with it at one point. If you're trying to make shit perfect before you actually even start the shit, you're already gonna fail.
And sometimes that can be my struggle, which is why I'm a recovering perfectionist. I call myself a particularist, because it's not even that I don't want people to have what it is that I'm creating, because I still perform it and everything for people. It's more so like, if I know as a listener and a music lover and a lover of what it is that I do, if it's not at least 98% what it is that I know I want to deliver to the people, I feel to me that's a disservice. However, what really stops me or like keeps me from doing shit like that and just going ahead and going is like, okay, maybe I done did enough research. I'll be damned if somebody sit here and do the same motherfucking idea that I had.
And that's your
and
fault.
You did that.
And that's your fault.
And exactly. And that's not gonna be on nobody but you, because you got the download and the vision. Like something happened recently. I'm creating something. And someone that I know happens to be doing the same thing in a different structure. And at first I was irritated. But then I was just like, what if they shit come out before mine? Or what if people think that I copied them? And it's just like, hold the fuck up. Because fuck all them what ifs. Because what if my shit is much bigger than what the fuck it is that they're doing, because they're not doing the same shit the same way that I'm doing that shit.
Okay, question for you before you continue. Mm-hmm. As creatives, right? Mm-hmm. As creatives, how do you feel about people, whether they verbalize it or not, that they are pretty much going to do the same thing you've either already shown the world that you've done or an idea that you already have? How do you feel about people doing the same thing as you, either because of influence that you've given or because you might have shared that idea with this person, not knowing this person might try to steal your shit, or y'all just out of the blue have similar ideas? How do you feel about that in the creative space?
That's good. Honestly, as a person that understood logistics first before I even understood my own creativity, there are uncontrollable factors of business that affect results. But there's an understanding with the creatives that separates themselves from the audience. And the audience, to be a creator, you have to understand the difference. Going back to what you said earlier about knowing your lane. When you're a creator and you're hopefully not comparing yourself to other creatives and other people that produce or what have you, even if those people see you and then create other things that are inspired from you, it don't matter if they have more likes, it don't matter if they have more comments, what have you. If you were the authentic person that was walking through your downloads of what you understand to be true, it's always going to come back to you.
Yeah. Like,
it don't matter how many people try to bite off of you. The person that gave you the idea whoever you identify to be that person,
to be that entity.
Exactly. It don't matter who it is. It don't matter what you believe. Whoever gave you that download, they recognize them.
Exactly. So you're going to have your abundance regardless. Like, so the way I think about it, sometimes I used to get annoyed, but then I'd be like, damn, I'm flattered because maybe you think the same as me. Or we're like-minded. But I know you're not going to do it like me.
What if they just a straight up copycat?
Then you're not going to do it like me, bitch, and I'm flattered. Because guess what? Success is inevitable for me. And I already know that shit. So it's just like, regardless of if I put it out now or you put it out before me and then I put it out then, just know that I was so detail-oriented and meticulous and very intentional with what it is that I'm trying to do. What, you want a high five?
No, I wanted to say something, but I'm going to wait until you finish.
Oh. Damn, you could have gave me a high five.
I thought it was a high five. Oh, shit.
You, because you left me hanging and shit.
You know how that teacher... Bro, bitch down.
No, I be like this when I have a question.
You gotta raise a hand.
Yes.
I got a comment, you feel me?
True.
But I definitely just feel like even if they did that shit intentionally, I'm flattered. Mm-hmm. Because not only am I still going to be successful because that's inevitable for me, but also because you don't know how that's going to fuck up your authenticity by you doing what it is that I'm doing instead of doing what it is that you feel is in your own lane for you to do.
Have y'all had anybody literally tell you, I'm about to do your same idea to your face?
Don't nobody tell me shit. Y'all just do that shit. And guess what? I peep it and I watch it. And I applaud you. Okay? Because you curate to inspire, and comparison is the death of curation. So I don't compare myself to no goddamn body. If you do it and you don't let me know, I know that I'm doing everything it is I'm supposed to do as a creative because you're inspired to do it like me or similarly to what it is that I'm doing. So, shit, I don't know. Go ahead, LOL. You don't need this.
Have you had somebody deliberately tell you, I'm going to do exactly what you're doing the way you're doing it?
But that's so bold. Who is going to be like, I'm going to do exactly what it is that you're doing?
There's people like that in the world.
There is, but what I would say is my experience has been, I've been in so many rooms. I've been around so many influential people before. I don't know where the philosophy of chilling is going to go, and people ask me this all the time. Where do you envision it to be? I have no idea because this is just what I genuinely want to create and put into the world.
Which is such a crazy statement.
But to answer your question, a lot of the people around me don't tell me anything because they don't want the perspective of what they're going through to be digested from my perspective. And sometimes it's disheartening because I'm always for going through the ups and downs of everything. Like, even when I met you, when I saw your energy, when I met you, when I really got a connection with you, I was like, bro, I'm down for everything. Just let me know.
Right.
So it was always the energy of, okay, I'm going to check on them. I'm going to make sure they're okay. And I'm going to contribute how they want me to. Because what I never want to do is overextend myself in a situation where someone doesn't recognize my contribution.
But what would you do if they did come to you and say that?
If they did, bro, more power to you.
Exactly.
Because one thing that I've always recognized is I've always been in the in-between.
Okay.
Like, I can understand my bros, but I'm a woman. So I'm always going to be in between.
Yeah.
I don't always understand. I don't always connect with my more feminine individuals because that's not what I process mentally. I don't get that. But when I see my bros, when I lock eyes with them, it don't matter if I'm a
woman. Hey, bro, calm yourself down.
I think he had hurt himself a little bit though.
Okay, chill out. But when I'm around my bros, damn near we don't have to say nothing. But we understand it. We can just lock eyes and be like, for sure.
So you wouldn't be offended?
No, I wouldn't be offended. But what I would say is do it genuinely. Because if you scrutinize it, then that's a contradiction to me.
That's very fair.
Because you can't do that shit because everything I do is genuine, bro. I'm never gonna come to one of my bros. I'm never gonna come to one of my sisters. I'm never gonna come from a perspective of not understanding. I can get what you feel about him. You know what? Just, let him grow. Let some time pass by. But you gotta hold your own standards. If you're not doing that, then I can't help you because you're just succumbing to what he's establishing. And if that's not you, then that's not you. But because you're doing that and seducing to that, well, what more do you want me to do?
I don't think it's a matter of like, thank you. I don't even think it's a matter of like, because I understood everything it is that you was saying, but you was also talking about some other shit too, all in one at the same time. And I feel like it all resonates though at the same time because I think in order for you to take something or to outright be like, I want to do exactly something it is that you're doing and have the same idea to do the same thing it is that you're doing, to me is a sense of respect. You respect what the fuck it is that I'm doing so much that you want to do your own variation of whatever it is that is.
And that's how I take it to be.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying. So it's like I understood what it is that you were saying because just like you might not have the same ideology as other people or like connect with them on the ways it is that they decide to create what it is that you've been creating. But I mean, shit, at least you're a good enough person to be like, how is it that I can assist you in creating the vision it is that you want to do, even if it was inspired by something it is that I do? Me? I ain't like that.
And that's the thing that I wanted to expound upon too, though, because even if somebody wanted to bite off of me and had the gumption to tell me in person, I implore that.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me in person. I hate when somebody goes behind closed doors and says XYZ ABC and then it comes back to me.
Facts.
And that's more irritating because if I wanted to dish you, I would rather do it to your face. But the fact that you respected the space that I'm trying to create, I would rather you do that in your own variation because you're going to bring the people that recognize with you to that avenue. And by you doing that, they don't have to agree with me. They don't have to recognize what I know to be true. But at the end of the day, it falls on that same respect level because it's only going to go so much a distance or go so much a certain way.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, there's some identity to what I'm saying that corresponded to the person that gravitated towards you to the space.
Yeah, at least if you're going to copy me, respect the lane it is that I am trying to bring, like, highlight, if that makes sense. Like, if you're going to do what it is that I'm doing, do it in your own way, but also don't do it in a sense of disrespect because it just totally contradicts what the fuck it is that you taking what it is that I'm doing for.
Mm-hmm.
Can I be the adversary?
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what y'all said, but I take a strong dislike to people who do things like that.
Really?
That's real.
Same though.
I do.
That's real.
And just like you, it's flattering.
Mm-hmm. That's
just
my
like you,
level right there.
You know what I'm saying? Just like to you, it's a form of respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To me, it's both of those things. But also, I don't. I take a strong disliking to it because it's a form of theft.
Woo!
You know what I'm saying?
That's real too.
And when I say a form of theft, it's not physical theft. it's theft in intellectual property.
Property theft, like curation theft. Like I sat here and wrote down business plans or like goals or visions and ideas, and you sit here and you just bite off of this shit, but you did not have the same down, and that's why honestly it doesn't even fucking matter, because you're going to know who had the authenticity when creating it from jump.
And that's very true, but it's like, how do you carry yourself when you're, presented with something like that? Because I've been presented with that by quite a few people since just the beginning of this year, that, hey, I love your idea. I'm finna do something just like that. Somebody literally told me, like, I'm about to do exactly what you're doing. And it's just like how do you expect how do you expect me to respond to that? Like I'm all for there's enough money to go around. I'm all for we all can get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter if we're all doing the same thing, but like now I'm already diminishing your credibility. Out the gate. Exactly. Like, do you not believe in your own ideas enough to do it? Like, we can be doing the same thing. Like, we're both creating content about bartending and drinks, but do you not believe in your own curation of ideas enough to not have to do it the way I'm doing it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
even to the point of them verbatim being like, I'm about to do something exactly like how it is that you do. But again, you know that you're iconic and that you're inspiring when someone is inspired to do the exact same thing it is that you're doing. So you should take it as a point of flattery instead of taking it as a point of disrespect, because it's just like, thank you for giving me the ability to curate this vision and inspiring other people to do it just like me or a little bit different. Regardless, you gave the download to me. You made it to where I am going to be successful in the authenticity of this vision. And whoever decides to do what it is that I do, I think about this all the time in relation to music. I think about this all the time in relation to me making clothes, because people steal shit all the time. I put a lot of effort into designing the garments it is that I make. Not only am I sitting here sketching this shit, but I'm sitting here back on fire designing and sewing this shit. So yes, on a level, it is disrespectful for you to go and be like, oh yeah, you see this? Make this.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What are you talking about?
That's all I had to say. I had to be the adversary.
But at the same time, I'm flattered, because I'm still going to push out whatever it is that I'm doing, and God is going to push that forward, because that's the authenticity of it. So it doesn't matter who jack your swag. Motherfuckers always jacking swag, okay? The swaggiest will forever be the swaggiest and the most creative, despite the prototypes.
Ooh! Damn! Shit.
Bye.
Oh, damn. I just wanted to add that my experience correlates exactly to that. And it doesn't even start with me. Like, the credit is not even pertaining to the time that I was born. It was pertaining to the person that birthed me. My mom, Chandra Evans.
Shout out to Chandra Evans, Miss Evans.
You can catch her at Tri-Cities. She already went viral.
She did.
So it ain't got nothing to do with me. But credit to her, because she was in Tri-Cities when the greatest were known. Kenan Thompson.
Oh shit.
Goddamn, fucking Andre 3000. She was a part of that era. So it wasn't the fact that our potential wasn't known. It was the fact that our potential chose not to be sought in that degree, because the things that were surrounding it wasn't necessarily in alignment with where they wanted to be. And because of that aspect, I was given the perspective of already being in the atmosphere of people that were well known for what they authentically contributed to. And because of that, it allowed me to understand if you had the original download, it don't matter what nobody else do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It don't matter what nobody else do. I have mentees that came to me that blew up before me. Statistically, it can change somebody's entire perspective of what you actually do as a person, what you actually do creatively. But at the end of the day, it boils down to where you got it from.
Yeah.
Because it can be somebody else. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What mattered was the fact that you received something and that you conveyed it to the world so somebody else could receive it and understand it and put it out in their perspective.
Yeah, because
and
honestly,
that's what brings the creative community.
Yeah, I was going to say that because honestly, that's what social media is. They see what it is that they like. They take that and do their own spin on it. But that is a part of bringing your own personality and authenticity to it. If you sit there and copy someone outright, it's a disservice to you, honestly, because you don't even see what it is that you're capable of, because it's easy to just copy and paste something that somebody else did. Sure. So, I don't know, man. Shit. You got any other questions?
Yeah. Before you do,
we're back from our break, and this is probably the one time that I've actually done this, and you'll see the editing reflected in it. But we just came back. We had our little break. And this is the session where now we will kind of transition into the last couple minutes of the episode. And this is really where I want you all to ask me questions that may be pertaining to the topic of conversation or not. But essentially, what is it that you have to ask me or the other individual present that you haven't necessarily asked? And let's get into it.
I have a question for sure.
Okay, who's it for?
Both of you.
Okay, lovely.
Mm-hmm. It's open discussion. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What does a loss look like to you? Shit. And we're not flipping the loss and the lesson thing.
Ooh, that's good.
Yes, I do believe there is no such thing as losses. There's lessons, but there is a such thing as loss.
That's facts.
What does a loss look like to you?
Ooh.
Honestly, I don't look... Okay.
Give it to us.
Honestly, I don't look at a loss as LOSS. I look at a loss as LOST.
Okay.
Right? Because losses to me is when I've gotten so far away from what it is that my original objective was that I've now lost parts of who it is that I am. Like, that's what loss looks like to me. I don't think loss can be portrayed or understood to me in a sense of like, I don't know, when it comes to like 3D worldly shit, I just don't view losses. But when it comes to me as an individual in this 3D shit, I view my losses as like me being lost, me not being in alignment with who it is that I'm trying to be, me taking 3 steps back when subconsciously I know my higher self wants to take 3 steps forward, or me feeling like I'm supposed to be in this. Honestly, lost to me sometimes can look like from a place of self-sabotage when I'm not in the place I thought I was going to be by this time. And I think that the loss that I had to let go of is my expectation of what it was going to be versus what it is now, and be okay with what it is now. Because again, if I sat here and received everything it is that I've ever wanted, can I honestly say that I'm prepared and ready for it? So that's what loss is to me.
She said something.
Yeah.
For sure. What I know is the fact that when I recollect, When I recognize loss, it's because I recognize the loss of a soul. Like, if I recognize that you just refuse to continue to evolve, I've lost you. Like, yeah. My main objective is to grow. It doesn't matter who I have to connect through, what I have to work through myself in, because knowing my mindset, I can be so stubborn and egotistical. It can really come second nature to me, and I can really be destructive to the maximum capacity. But because I intentionally try not to do that, when I recognize a soul that can relate to me, but you choose to stay in the same energy that I'm trying not to be in, that's a loss to me, because we have so much compatibility, we have so much understanding, but because you choose to grow, it's stifling me, and that I have to let you go. There's so much more we can achieve that you don't even know, bro. And that's disheartening, because everything that I've ever wanted to achieve in life, I've never wanted to do it by myself. I've always wanted to do it with people that I know can uphold the standard or exceed that in their own way, and elevate that to a degree where you don't feel like you have to change it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I think that also, it's so funny because the topic was self-discovery, and I've been sitting here saying self-development, but same shit. Definitely. However, I think that also ties into just the aspect of self-discovery, because people don't realize just because you are not related to them and it is a separate person from you, when someone is connected to you, especially on a soul tribe level, or someone that you've been around, even yourself, when you've been so used to this variation of you, or people have been so used to you being the certain form of way, they can even experience a form of loss when it comes to you choosing to evolve and not being that same entity or that same variation of who it is that you are. Like, loss can come in so many forms of ways. It can be like, I lost the version of you that I thought was going to stay this way with me forever. It can be a loss for me to feel like I'm not in this place it is that I thought I was going to be in. It can be a loss of me not having, how do I want to say, not having the same desires. Like, you can feel lost from not wanting the same things anymore, whether that be for yourself or with another person or with another group or in a business. Like, people wake up every single day and experience loss, but don't identify it as a form of loss, because honestly, anything that's transformative is a form of loss. Okay? Like, if you're going to continuously be the better version of yourself every single day, you're always going to lose things and go through ego deaths. So I guess that is ultimately how it is that I articulate loss. So yeah.
Great answers.
Yeah. Well, I have a question though. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. So, how is it that you see yourself now as a creative? From because I asked her the question, she said, like, shit. And I thought that was so funny. Being that you went from being a person who would not be in the main character energy or in the forefront of your own podcast, but you were comfortable in being that support system and that supporting character attribute of another podcast, and then you finally stepped into a space where you went from being in the corporate world to being the creative that you were always supposed to be, to being in spaces that scare you but you still did that shit anyway, to now being in the film and entertainment industry to now being in the forefront of your own podcast while also still being in the forefront of this podcast, but still supporting, like, you take on so many different roles and variations of your identity, but like, who is it that you view yourself to be now as a creative professional?
I don't know.
That's fair.
And that's really where I am authentically, because I didn't get to this position because that's where I wanted to be. Like, I got to this position because I kept so many people's potential in perspective that I wanted to always make sure that I had the appropriate understanding of what was really happening on a logistical level to make sure everyone was able to succeed. And when it got flipped on me, it kind of reset my intentionality, because it wasn't just about somebody else anymore. Like, if going back to what we said earlier, if I really want to do this, I have to have the discipline to do it. Mm-hmm. So it had to be different moments that occurred to me, even recently, to where I felt emotions that were above me, but still pertain to my own expectation of what I knew to be true, if that makes sense. Like, even with the program that I was recently in, with all the difficulty with the modules and everything, but even getting to a point of able to get a completion, it was the fact that that program in itself was a momentous occasion, because it can be minuscule to somebody else, but just going through the fact that I had this opportunity, it showed me that I'm not gonna get so emotionally attached to something if it didn't mean anything. And that's kind of where I draw my acknowledgement from, because I never had a vision of being in a film industry. I never had the vision of being a director, a first AD, a producer, XYZ. I had the vision of helping people, of being able to walk in my own truth and then see what that does for other people. So now, walking in what that reality has become to be, it's like, oh damn, I'm really doing this shit. Like, this is something that I'm still discovering, if that makes sense.
Okay, so with you being a person who has always been very business oriented, and now you are technically a content creator on top of an entrepreneur. Yeah. Did that seem like a seamless shift for you? Or do you feel as though, like, who are you as a creative? Is there a separation versus who you are or who you have been as a business person versus now a creative professional?
No, it was not a seamless transition. I've never really believed in being overly active on social media in a sense of something that I am, like, passionate about, or something that I have business ties to, or something that I've created. So it was not an easy transition. I consider myself now a content creator.
Facts.
I didn't consider myself in previous years a content creator, even though I created content. You know what I'm saying?
Which is so interesting, though, because I have shit to say in relation to that. So continue.
So I think it's the same thing. I kind of align the two, because content creation, real life, is a profession.
Yes.
Anybody who creates content knows that content creation is a job.
It takes a lot of time.
It's very, very time and energy consuming, especially if you're trying to produce anything of quality.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So the transition was not easy, especially after, and I talked about it in the last episode I was in, coming off of a depressive period in life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Where I fell off the face of social media. So coming back, even though I still don't post on social media as Mark Quavion, like my main page, I don't post me. I don't post my life. I don't post anything. No, you wouldn't know what I had going on in real life if you literally watch my Instagram, because I rarely post. Now that I've stepped into content creation, understanding what content creation looks like, and I'm posting every day, even though it's strictly for business purposes. No, it was not an easy transition. And who am I as a creative? I believe that's the question, right? Who am I as a creative? I think I'm the same person I am on and off the camera. I think I'm the same person I am whether I'm promoting a product or business of mine or somebody else's, and in just normal life. And I think I kind of feel both ways about it. I'm personally the same way across all boards, but I respect people who can tap into a different person of them, what some people might call a alter ego. I think that's even more impressive to me. That's a character. That's somebody who you created and that you are able to live through that actually don't exist. So I think I don't have an alter ego. I don't think I have an alter ego. I think I'm the same way all the way through. So as a creative, I think I'm a consistent person. If you know me in real life, you know that anything I do in my business is a reflection of me. And if you don't know me in real life and you've met me through my business, i.e. people who see you through social media, then if you met me in real life, you'll see that I'm a direct reflection as far as what you see in my business, personality-wise, whatever the case may be, in real life. You know what I'm saying? So that's who I am as a creator. I think I'm just a what you see is what you get type of person. That's how I view myself as a creator. I don't know what other people see. But I know, like, when I think of things and when I put things out, I'm just a what you see is what you get. You don't have to do all that fine line interpretation. What you see is what you get.
And that's so interesting because, for one, me as a creative, I view myself, I say this all the time to people, I'm an ethereal woman. I'm an ethereal creative. I'm going to make some shit that's going to make you feel. I'm going to create something. Honestly, everything is intentional with me. No shit. The name of my clothing brand is Iconically Psychotic for a reason.
Can I interrupt real quick? So, because I think sometimes people need something to compare things to understand probably what you're trying to say. So when you say I'm going to create things that make you feel, the first thing that comes to my mind is like musically. So like if I had to say an artist that makes you feel, Jhené Aiko is the first person I think of. Is that how you would say you carry yourself as a creative as well? Like, my intentions, my emotion, my personality, my intellect, all that stuff is what is going to produce the feeling that I might be feeling and you might receive it that way. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, but in a sense of like, not just, because honestly, when I think about it, I don't even think of Jhené Aiko because I love Jhené. Don't get me wrong. But if someone asks me, like, who are you as, like, if someone was to describe you as an artist, I'm going to say Joe with a little bit of Tank, with a little bit of Jasmine Sullivan and Faith Evans and Brandy. And these are all the people it is that I listen to because Jhené make you feel shit, yeah.
Are we talking about?
But I'm talking about, like.
Are we talking about musical cat? Are we talking about fashion designer cat?
All of them.
Okay, we're talking about everything.
All of them.
Okay.
Because I may make something and I name my brand Iconically Psychotic because I may make something and you might be like, that shit look crazy. Thank you. That shit look weird. Thank you. I don't know how I feel about that. Thank you. Because as long as it's provoking some form of thought, emotion. I'm a thought-provoking ass bitch. That's what I care about, right? If it makes you mad, amazing. If you hear what it is that I'm writing and it's music and it makes you sad, amazing. If it makes you happy, amazing. If you see my shit and you be like, damn. Because a part of Iconically Psychotic, like I said, I create garments that match the energy frequencies of the human body. Right? Every human body has 150 hertz of energy frequency. I find garments or materials that match that frequency or higher because I don't want you to just look good. I want you to also feel good. Right. Everything it is that I do artistically or creatively is to make you feel like something. And so that is what I mean by like, shit, I don't know. I can't just be one thing. I agree. I'm me through and through. But regardless, you're always going to know you're going to get an authentic bitch. Like anything it is that I do, whether it be music, whether it be fashion, whether it be creative directing, you're always going to feel something and you're going to know, damn, did Catherine write this? Did Catherine do this? Because for me, when people be like, okay, so what is it that you want to do as a job? I'm already doing my job. Just because you don't view it to be that does not mean it is. It does not mean it's not my job. That's real. That does not mean it's not my career. That does not mean I am who it is that I am. Because you weren't as consistent of being a creative or a content creator does not mean you were never a fucking content creator. You just had to step into claiming the fucking title of what it is that you were. Just because she was in business all the goddamn time does not mean that she was never creative. She just wanted to stay away from doing those things because she was afraid of the possibilities that would bring if she actually tapped into her creative side as well as her business. What I can appreciate about Jacqueline, shout out to you, girl, that's my mommy. What I can appreciate about her is that she never told me, well, maybe you should just do this thing. When I said I wanted to be a veterinarian, she was like, okay, be a veterinarian, baby. When I wanted to be a ballerina, she was like, be a ballerina. When I wanted to be a teacher, be a teacher. She's never been like, okay, you need to pick something it is that you want to do. No. She's like, okay, if you're able to do all of these things and do those things because that makes you happy. And while other people are compartmentalized on this one thing over here, and that's great, do you, to each his own. I think it's something so beautiful in the fact that I can say as a creative, I am multifaceted. That is who it is that I am. I've always been that. And just because it did not have as much traction or acknowledgement as other people who are bigger than me at the moment does not mean that I never had that title.
Okay, question. I'm always going to play the adversary in everything. Not because I agree with it, just because I want to hear other viewpoints, right? So, like how you said, I'm a creative. I got different lanes. I got different talents and gifts and things that I can embark on. Okay, let me just break that. My kids are not doing that.
Really?
If you're talented in multiple things, I don't care. Pick one.
Why?
I believe there's something special about being focused on one thing. Let me elaborate just a little bit, and because I want to just get to y'all point before I say too much of my point. You can be skilled and gifted in so many different things, but like when it's all said and done, most times people will remember you for one particular thing. You know what I'm saying? So let me give you an example. You can have people like who the fuck could we use for a great example? Let's just take any celebrity that is gifted in being an actor or actress, an author, producer, so many other things.
Yes.
Right. But when you think of that name, you'll usually think of the one thing that really is what they captivated the world with, right? So my approach to my children is, and keep in mind, this is not me directly. Like, this is just like a hypothetical, adverse viewpoint. Now, I know maybe somebody out there probably do share these sentiments. I'm only going to allow my child to hone in on one of those things, right? Because I know that if you put 110% into that one thing, there's no way that you won't be successful in it. But if I allow you to give if you only got 100% and I allow you to divide it up into 33.33, all of those have an opportunity to not reach the full potential. So how do you feel about that? You know what I'm saying? Like understanding and acknowledging you have all that, but knowing that if I pursue all of that, it might not work. But how do you feel about the idea of honing in on one and giving it your all and understanding the likeliness of it succeeding is much greater?
I don't know. I feel like that's stifling. I feel like that's stifling because, again, it just goes back to the saying. People always say the saying, oh, jack of all trades, master of none. That's not the whole quote. That is not the whole quote. Because there are people, let's say you're on a deserted island and you have to survive. What if the only thing you know how to fucking do is that one thing?
But you're a master at it.
But there are other things that have to happen that you need to. Okay, cool. I'm a doctor. I'm deserted on this island and I'm a doctor. So if I have wounds, I know how to heal myself. I know how to be okay, right? But what about people who also have the talent of knowing how to cook and learning to love and understand food? Or the people who know how to build and they also took time to learn how to build homes or infrastructure or shelter, to where I know how to do all of these different things and I can be amazing and great at this. Keke Palmer is a great fucking example. Nobody looks at her as just an actor. People look at her as Keke, keep a job and keep a bag Palmer. Because this lady knows how to do everything. Because she's multifaceted. She didn't limit herself to only getting a stream of revenue from acting, because she also was blessed with the ability to sing. She also was blessed with the ability to talk and captivate people, to where she has podcasts.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your host, I Love to Connect, and I hope y'all didn't think that the conversation was over, because it definitely continued. But we have been having some technical issues. So, anytime that stuff like this happens, it really seemed like a divine intervention. So, with that being said, I'm not going to stress. I got some content. I know you guys want to see more. So, if y'all want to see a part two, y'all let me know. But I'm reaching out to the people, so we should have more coming soon. Peace.